Welcome to another edition of my ArundelBiz podcast. We are thick into things with our Vote Loan series of guests, and today's no different.
Yeah, as Grayson has said, it's already been a very big and exciting year for AAEDC, and while I'm definitely looking forward to sharing more news about Volt, IVP, all that, I've also already enjoyed sharing some big news about our Arundel Community Reinvestment Fund. And I'm going to go to the script for the definition here because it deals with money, just like Volt. ACR is a loan program that offers business and property owners in the county's 11 revitalization districts, portions of the city of Annapolis, and Anne Arundel County's Enterprise Zone, which is in Brooklyn Park, loans of up to $100,000 for improvements including renovation and upgrades to building exteriors and site improvements, including landscaping. And it was just back in February that we joined Anne Arundel County Executive Stuart Pittman in announcing that now, for a limited time, approved applicants can receive a grant equal to 25% of their loan amount. So if you're getting that $100,000 loan, you're never going to have to pay back $25,000 of it. So pretty nice incentive. So with that big news in mind, I'm pleased to introduce Dan Steele, owner of City Clean and one of, at present, 62 Anne Arundel County business owners who've received an ACR loan since 2007. So Dan, welcome to the podcast.
Pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
And just to kick things off, if you can tell us a little bit about your background and how you decided to start City Clean and what you guys do.
Sure. Born and raised in Arundel County. Went to community college for computer networking and essentially went out in the workforce and decided I really couldn't work for anybody else. I'd had a power washing business since I was a kid, and I kind of went back and forth between the workforce and my power washing business, and I just ended up going back into it. Awesome. And that was probably 2003 timeframe.
Okay.
Yep. And then 2009, fast forward a little bit, I partnered up with another company, and that's when we formed City Clean.
Cool.
Yep. And so essentially we do residential and commercial and industrial power washing. Yep. We also do industrial coatings, and we do abrasive blasting.
Oh,
yep.
Nice.
So coating removal, things like that. Yep.
So Dan, you're one of the most recent recipients of the ACR loan, and closing now in February 2022. And I wanted to know what made doing the ACR so attractive to you? Like, what was the thing that was like, oh, okay, I can really use this?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I had been actively looking. I've been leasing for many years, my building for my business, and I'd been looking for about 5 years, and I really couldn't find anything that worked for us, that was in our budget. You know, so when this building came for sale, we were running the numbers, and it was still really, really close to where we needed to be. It was still a little high, and we were negotiating, and so my real estate agent came to me with that information. She said, hey, are you aware of this loan? And she wrote Game Changer was her subject, and I said, wow, and I looked into it, and I said,
it's a good subject line.
Yeah, you know, this really is a game changer because part of your equation is your debt service, right?
Yeah.
How much your loan is going to cost you, and even though the interest rates are low, you still have to pay that back.
Right.
Compounding interest over 25 years and all the other things that go into it. So but by having this, it really allowed us to get into this building that we probably wouldn't have been able to get into otherwise.
Wow, that's awesome. Yep. And how did you find the process, you know, coming to AAEDC and working with the guy we call Money Steve, because we have 3 Steves in the house. And I know Tim was also involved with that.
Yeah, Steve was great. So right from the get-go, I had a lot of questions. He answered them via phone call, text, email, and he made the process very easy for us. Yeah.
That's great. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know they sent some pictures to me when they did, I think, the first visit out there. Mm-hmm. So obviously it was exciting for us to see the before, and then as you shared some of the after. So speaking of that, what specifically did you use the funds for? in terms of improving the property?
Yeah, I mean, so the property needed in excess of $150,000 in renovation to get it to where it is now. So we used it for the entire exterior, all the way around, from the roof all the way to the ground. Everything had to be redone, and the entire inside as well. So basically there was a cement or a cinder block shell with a concrete floor. That's the only thing that stayed. Everything else got redone. Wow. So we used it it was mostly exterior for the funding, but some of it went into the inside as well.
Right,
Yep.
that makes sense. And I guess, how did it feel to see the finished product?
That's great.
Yeah, and how, that must have been quite recent, right? To really be quote unquote finished product.
Yeah, I mean, it took us 4 months to do the renovation.
Okay.
Yeah, and so my busy season starts in April, and we were still renovating in April, so we were really all hands on deck to try to get it to open. We didn't, our lease has run out in May, so it was really getting close.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep, so we were moving, we were starting our season, we were renovating, we were doing everything all at once, but we got it done.
Lots of moving pieces.
Yeah, that's right.
Huh.
Yeah. So, the one thing I do have to say about City Clean is I think I'm victim of this because I do this all the time, but the videos on TikTok and Instagram and all that, the satisfying videos of where people are power washing and you see just the dirt and grime and then you just see this blast of water that just goes. So when you're doing that, do you guys kind of have that feeling like, like it's the most like satisfying feeling in the world?
100%. 100%. So that's part of what drew me to that to begin with, right?
Yeah.
And then you start to see, oh, we can make money doing this
Yeah.
and be satisfied at the same time, and that's what kept me in it,
Yeah.
But my guys are all the same way. We're all clean people. We all like things cleaned.
Yeah.
We like looking at them dirty, and when we get to a job that's really dirty, some people are like, oh, this is going to be a lot of work. My guys are like, oh, this is great because we know what the end results are going to be.
Yeah.
If you show up to
Exactly.
a job and it's not really dirty, you're kind of like, well, what are they expecting? What are we doing here? But when they're dirty, it really makes a big difference.
Yeah, that makes sense. Every single project you work on, there's no denying, a feeling of satisfaction that you and the client are going to get out of it.
And that's what I was going to say too. So your clients, I know they're probably looking like, oh my God, my place is renewed now. Because it's one thing to see it because over time you're busy, whatever, and stuff kind of, falls by the wayside. But once that clean comes and then you see that look on their face. So you guys are getting like so much satisfaction out of all this because this is the satisfaction from them, but it's also the satisfaction of a job well done.
Yeah.
So so you
And
guys
I hadn't really thought of this before, but it makes sense. You're like the perfect business to be an ACR guest of ours because
Absolutely.
before and after with your power washing, amazing difference. Before and after with your property facade, amazing difference. So it's there's some nice symbiosis or whatever.
Yeah,
yeah.
It's funny too because when we drive down the street, with my family, my wife makes fun of me because I'm like, we did this, we did that, we did this. We do hospitals, and there's a lot of stuff that you see one day is dirty, and then a week later it's clean. A lot of that is from our crews. Yeah.
And how big is your the geographic area you guys served?
We try to stay in Central Maryland.
Yeah.
We go to DC.
Okay.
We go to Southern PA. If the bigger the job, the further we'll go out.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
but we try to stay within that centralized region of Maryland.
Cool.
Sure. So with springtime just right around the corner and
You got your
growth in
nautical
March,
shirt. I
that's
got my green
very
spring
much.
grass shirt.
Listen, we're here.
We're ready for spring.
We're here. I smell the allergies. So, what I wanted to know is, where do you see the growth for your company? Like, where do you see yourself moving forward with everything?
Yeah, we don't have any, huge plans for growth or anything like that. We've been a much larger company. We've been smaller. We found our comfort zone. So I've been doing this personally for 25 years, and we find that a smaller, tight-knit crew, we treat them like family. Everybody knows each other. We have really the best guys, and most of my guys have been with me for 7, 8, 9, 10 years, and they keep coming back. So we keep it small. We've got it dialed in right where we want. With that being said, with the real estate, venture that we just did with our building, we're now looking into doing that as well because whether it's flipping residential houses or buying commercial properties and using them to lease out or to flip, and we would come back to ACR.
Yeah, there's no. Steve would be proud of me for saying there's no limits on coming back for another ACR loan. We want to see as many properties revitalized as possible.
For sure,
So.
and Brooklyn needs it,
Yeah, Yeah, I neglected to mention, so you guys are in Brooklyn Park, right? So,
It's a great community. We found a lot of neighbors there that really, they're very friendly people, and they want the same thing we do. There's issues in every neighborhood,
Right.
but this neighborhood in particular, it has a lot of potential.
Yeah.
It really does.
well, I guess speaking of where you are in the county, in Brooklyn Park, which is, I guess, just about as far north as you can get in Anne Arundel, what are some of your favorite things about, both living in Anne Arundel County and having your business where it is, and even a few of the favorite places you go in your free time?
Sure, yeah. I mean, having the business where it is, if you look at our region, it's pretty much right in the middle. And there's highways everywhere. So if there's an accident, we pull up the accident report. If there's weather issues, we can just take a different road and different route.
Right.
From each day, my guys could be going to Cockeysville all the way down to Lothian or DC or,
Wow.
the Eastern Shore. So they just look at the map and they say, well, we're right on the highway. So
Yeah.
no matter where we are.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Location.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I love Anne Arundel County. There's tons of stuff to do, obviously. You guys just had a brewery in here. There's a lot of breweries in Anne Arundel County. There's a lot of great restaurants. I like mountain biking. There's actually mountain biking. There's water
a lot
sports.
of biking.
There's our community's close to the water, so
Yep.
Anne Arundel County has a lot to offer for sure.
Yeah, we now, because sometimes our research manager will go back and forth with the exact number of shoreline we have, so we just stick to over 500 miles of shoreline in the
incredible.
county, which is pretty hard to beat.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
My last one or two or maybe even three questions that you might consider this. First, can you tell the business owners out there why they might want to think about an ACR loan? And then also just a few general tips for them, whether it's starting or growing a business. I'll let you answer those, and I'll ask my very last one.
Yeah, I think as far as the ACR loan goes, whether you're a new business or whether you're an existing business, like I said, it's a no-brainer mainly because of the debt service, right? It's interest-free loan. So
Right.
you have to pay it back, of course. It's not free money, but it's interest-free.
But now it's got that,
Yes.
for a limited time only, that
That's a
free
kicker.
money.
That's a kicker, which I didn't get, but I would try.
Yeah.
On the next one, we're going for it, right?
Yep.
So it's just a no-brainer.
Yeah.
The only, like we were talking about earlier, even if you have cash, some people go, "Oh, I have cash, I don't need that." Well, you can use your cash for other things. You can invest
Right,
it. You can
right.
invest. Even if you put it in a 5% savings account. Capital
Yeah.
One has 5% savings
Yeah.
account. Put that $100,000 in a 5%.
Right.
Pay no interest
the
for
other
5
money
years, and
into your business. Yeah.
it really is a no-brainer. Or investing in more equipment, or
Yeah.
people, or infrastructure, or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Advice for new business owners, is that what you said?
Yeah, or even aspiring ones that haven't started quite yet. Yeah.
Man, that's a deep question. We could talk about
Yeah,
that for
and-
hours.
yeah.
I've learned a lot.
Yeah.
Having a business is very tough.
Yeah.
A lot of people want to start a business for a specific reason, and let's say I hate my boss. Okay, but is starting a business the right thing to do because you don't like your boss?
Yeah.
Right, so you got to ask that question. Is your
Right.
family behind you?
Right.
Is there money in what you're trying to do? Are you going to be passionate about it when you have to do it every day?
Right.
And it's not a hobby anymore?
Right.
Can you make money in it? There's a lot of questions to that. But what I would
Yeah.
say is, like, if all those answers are yes and you are doing it for the right reasons, and it's not just because you hate your boss, it's because you want to
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
And I would say, for me and my service business, take care of your customers. So many people say that, and so many people preach that on the front end. When you go to Google and you see the 5-star reviews, you know that company takes care of their
Sure.
customers.
Yeah.
You see an advertisement for somebody, and they look like they take care of their
Yep.
customers, but then you deal with them, and they're not responding the way that you think they should.
Yeah.
That's a no-brainer. Do
Yeah.
what you say you're going to do, and
Yep.
you will be successful.
Practice what you preach.
That's right.
Yeah.
We've been throwing around some taglines.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, but at AAEDC, and
Yeah.
we're leaning into the practicing what we preach in terms of
Yeah.
a customer service type. We're gonna help you the way we say we're gonna help you. So
I had that experience with you guys.
Yeah.
I did.
that's great to
And,
hear.
and going back to what you said earlier on when you were talking about why creating the business, what was that point that when you said, okay, I'm going out, business time, let's go. Every business that I think we've interviewed have had that one moment where it's like, oh crap.
Am I pulling the
What
trigger?
did we really
Yeah.
do? What was that
Yeah.
point for you?
Well, so for me, it was a lot easier because I was still a kid. I didn't have a family.
Okay.
I was renting an apartment with my friends.
Right.
You know, my bills were $500, $800 a month.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
got fired from a job for being late.
Yeah.
Right? Because I was an irresponsible child.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to go ahead and keep doing it. So for me, it was a lot easier. As an
Yeah.
adult, you know, I would say, yeah, it's a whole different ballpark.
You're
Because
putting so much more at risk, right?
at 22 years old, if I failed, I would have just gone to work at McDonald's or whatever. You know, I could have
Yeah.
found something else to do.
Yeah.
As an adult, it's a much bigger deal.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's possible, though. It's definitely possible. And this is a great area to do it.
I'll put my little extra third question on there if you'll give me one last answer.
Sure.
And that's because my employment history actually does include some power washing of both houses and window cleaning and decks, a lot of that stuff, back in high school and then some of grad school as well. Just if you could think of, you've obviously got a very long history in business, so it might be tough, but whether it's one-time or recurring clients, a few of the favorite jobs where you've seen the before and after.
Yeah. So I think on our homepage of our website, Good Samaritan Hospital, it's an EFIS drive-it building, which is like a foam board, and it gets moldy.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it gets really moldy.
Yeah.
So there's a picture of one of my guys up there in a lift, and you see the clean and then the dirty. And he's
Yeah.
right in the middle, and he
Yeah.
took it panorama, and he was so proud, and he sent it to everybody, and it's still the picture we use for everything, because when
Yeah.
you see that building, you know the building, and then you see the dirt and the clean, and that's amazing.
Yeah.
Another one, we just did a really large job for UST. They're in Sparrows
Okay.
Point.
Yeah.
They're making nitrile gloves. So we cleaned the entire inside of the warehouse.
I would say they got to be pretty darn clean, I would think.
Yeah.
Then
Well,
it's-
it went from a steel mill
Yeah.
to manufacturing.
Wow.
So it
Jeez.
is
Okay.
from the
So,
dirtiest
yeah.
to the cleanest. I mean,
Yeah.
it's, so
Jeez.
we cleaned the entire inside. It's 800,000 square foot building, 80 feet tall, top to bottom. And then we went back and sealed all the rafters. So that was
Jeez.
about a 9-month job. But we've been in there since 2017 on and off.
Yeah.
That's a very gratifying job because
I
it was
bet.
dirty.
Jeez.
Very dirty. And now it's not.
Jeez.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, it makes it, as Grayson was saying, as you've been saying, pictures are worth 1,000 words.
Yeah.
So always having the before and after, I know we keep going back to that, but that's a great way to show an undeniable change.
That's right.
To people out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, so I guess to wrap up, thanks for telling us so much about the business as well as what sounds like a great experience with ACR. And to everyone out there, not to sell it too hard, but that 25% grant is quote unquote limited time only. So learn more. We've actually got it on our ACR page, all the maps of what districts qualify, and all the details of what the program involves. So definitely look us up to learn more about it. And speaking of that, if you could just tell everyone where to find out more about you guys and follow you on whatever social channels.
Yeah, yep. City Clean Inc.
Yep.
So citycleaninc.com is our website. We're on Facebook if you just type in City Clean Inc.
Yep.
We're on Yelp, obviously on Google.
I guess, those
Facebook.
review sites.
Yeah.
One of the places we are not, actually, is
Yeah.
the review site.
Yeah, Angie's List, Home Advisor.
Yeah, that's awesome.
City Clean, type it in Google, you'll find
Yeah.
it. Yeah, all the
Cool.
reviews and everything. Yep.
Awesome. Just to remind everyone out there, we're everywhere other than those review sites. So watch this podcast and any past ones on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. Listen to them wherever you get your pod. And also follow us on LinkedIn and Twitter. And, of course, our website for more economic development news on everything that's happening in Anne Arundel County. And we'll see you next time.